Welcome to the future, where the glass is half full and you'll need new glasses, where you'll be jumping from conclusions.
The past is annulled, and a new future is born.
Never before in history has so much meant so little to so many. AD on the radio.
So, I have a prediction. I have a prediction about the time that you and I are living in right now. I think absolutely all of us could look at the last 12 to 18 months and go, that was effing nuts. What the hell was that? History's going to look back at this and go, what on earth went on in 2017 and 2016? That election, the run up to the election, and then the election itself, and then the year that followed, and the way everybody on every side behaved, and just what the hell was going on back then. History books will analyze it. Students will write essays on the time that we are living in now. People will do term papers and debate what we are living through at this moment in time for years and years to come. But what's interesting is, my prediction for you is that when people are debating, when people are writing their PhD theses on 2017 history 100 years from now, Trump will figure in. Clinton will figure in. But they're bit part characters. I honestly think that 100 years from now, the figure in all of this that folks are going to be talking about is Steve Bannon. We've said it before on and off the air. Freaking fascinating individual. And look, I know there's lots of late night talk show hosts are going to be like, that melanin deprived job of the Hutt, that discarded skin suit of a man, that greasy lump of silly putty. Sure. The low hanging comedic fruit. But make no mistake, this man is determined to be a kingmaker and is a kingmaker. Like William F. Buckley before him at The Statesman, delivering Reagan to power. Bannon and Breitbart making a play for their place in history. And I have a prediction that Bannon will make history. I mean, he already sort of has. If you're under any kind of impression that anybody other than Steve Bannon won Donald Trump the election, well, it's just not true. And I would hazard a guess that as 2020 draws closer, you're going to see him become a lot more involved with Donald Trump, or whoever manages to glean Bannon's support. See, he's back on the radio. Did you know that he's a radio guy, Funkhouser?
No idea.
Yeah. I don't know what day part he did, but he was on that Sirius XM talk radio station, the right-wing station, the Patriot, I think it's called, or something like that. And it was announced that he's going back to morning drive there. I don't know if he was there before, but it's crazy because Bannon is basically you and me on steroids, or you and me without a sense of perspective or reality. It's interesting because, well, like Pence, do you remember? Like, this was news to both of us, too. Pence, the vice president of these United States of America, he was a talk radio guy, too. He described himself as Rush Limbaugh on decaf. Do you remember that?
What?
It's crazy to think that these high-powered political types are people we got to run into in the hallways. Because, look, broadcasters, broadcasters, I know broadcasters. And for people that don't know broadcasters, we're not normal. We're not people that should be given any real responsibility or power. Certainly no power. I mean, we are creative individuals. We are people that really, for the most part, the common thread that runs between most of the broadcasters I know, we are interested in and care about people. That much is true. But the idea that people like me and Funkhouser, and they are like me and Funkhouser.
Oh, you don't want to run for president next?
No, I am unfit to be president. Also, not born in America, so I don't think that's a thing that I can do. Oh. Can I? No, not yet. I know Arnold Schwarzenegger was trying to get that changed, but I don't think he was successful at it.
You can be governor.
No, thank you. I don't want to have an elected political office. I don't want to have to do the things. And I mean, this is not a real conversation. Never in my life have I ever once considered being involved in politics. I'm a political spectator. I treat it like professional sports. The rest of the country has started treating politics like professional sports, and that's a lousy thing. But I'm more of a casual observer that likes to see what happens next. People get behind candidates with blind devotion. And, well, here's the thing. The blind devotion that Roy Moore is currently feeling has a lot to do with the subject of our story, Steve Bannon. He went to Alabama, and boy, did he stump hardcore for Roy Moore. Do you see what he did? It's insane. That's the guy to watch.
Real Radio 94.3 on the Treasure Coast 101.7.
Where the left and right come together for fundamental truths. AD on the radio, on Twitter at ADSXE.
So, like I said, the one to watch, the one who is carving himself out a large chunk of the history books of the future, that would be Steve Bannon. That's the guy. That's the Kingmaker. Do you know William F. Buckley, Funkhouser?
Sounds familiar.
William F. Buckley and Gore Vidal are the reason that I blame them for everything. I blame them for everything. This is why, in some ways, you and I are on the radio, but it's also why America is in the mess that it's in. Rewind to the mid-'60s, and television news was viewed as the standard repository of knowledge, wisdom, and truth. When you wanted a fact, you turned on television news. Newsmen read the news, and they read it well. There was no conjecture. There was no editorializing. There was no opinion. It was the facts that you needed to know. And I think it was ABC at the time. It was this failing network that had no ratings whatsoever. So they're like, oh man, we can't get anybody to watch our news broadcast. Let's throw something stupid up against the wall and see if it sticks. And they got William F. Buckley, a noted conservative, to debate Gore Vidal, a noted lefty dude, intellectual book writing guy. Gore Vidal and William F. Buckley over the years went up against each other over and over and over again. And it all kind of ended badly for William F. Buckley, at least in terms of his television career. Gore Vidal really got under his skin. There's a documentary on it. I think it's called The Best of Enemies. Might be on Netflix or something, but watch it and you will see exactly how we ended up where we are today, because all of a sudden these two are debating each other, hotly debating each other, and ratings for this failing TV station that they're on start shooting through the freaking roof. And all of a sudden people realize, oh, news can be entertainment. News doesn't have to be fact-based. News can be opinion-based. In fact, we seem to be making a lot of dollars off of this opinion-based stuff. And that was the beginning of that point-counterpoint political debate. Get to sort of like middle, lightweight political pundits on the radio, on television, and have them duke it out for 40 minutes. Do you accomplish anything? No, but boy, are people entertained. I think he went down swinging in the 10th. Nah, I award it to this person. Well, you would, because you pay attention to the sort of things he says. You liberal idiot. Oh, shut up, you conservative moron. Oh, wait, look what happened. We're divided, and people are making money off of it. That's how we ended up the way we are today. It's William F. Buckley and Gore Vidal. Now, William F. Buckley's career kind of ended, at least the television portion of it ended, in a very sort of like tough kind of way. For him, he was basically publicly humiliated because he blew his cool. Gore Vidal really got under his skin. And I think he called Gore Vidal, he used some sort of gay slur and said that he would punch his lights out. Something along those lines. And it wasn't a good look. It's not the sort of thing that you can say on TV now. It certainly wasn't the sort of thing that you could say on TV back then. And he basically had to kind of walk away from a glittering portion of his career in absolute disgrace. And he went on to focus on his magazine, The Statesman. Now, one of the big readers of the magazine, conservative magazine, The Statesman, was one Ronald Reagan. And, well, he was very open about his admiration for William F. Buckley and The Statesman. And William F. Buckley, in turn, played a very, very large part in getting Reagan elected. And, like I said, he became a kingmaker. That's what Bannon is. Bannon is the Buckley of 2017. Please watch the documentary for some context. It'll give you an amazing piece of perspective on why we are the way we are today.
Yeah,
and it's fascinating and it's amazing, but it also depressed the hell out of you in some ways, because you realize the moment where freaking vultures decided they could monetize our anger and our division, and they realized it made fiscal sense to stir up hatred between Americans. Not a good look. But whatever. It kept the lights on at ABC, so I guess it worked. I think it was ABC. Don't quote me on that one. But yeah, in his quest to be the new Steve Bannon, in his quest to be the new William F. Buckley, Steve Bannon went to Alabama, stumped hardcore for Roy Moore. Roy Moore is, of course, accused of sexual misconduct, molestation of children, rape, all sorts of stuff. And he's still running. Mitch McConnell was like, hey, I think you should bow out of the race. Roy Moore refused. Roy Moore is a bit of a folk hero to the people of Alabama. But he has taken a hit. There's plenty of people that don't believe it. Plenty of people that in no way, shape, or form want to believe that Roy Moore is guilty of any wrongdoing. He says he's going to take Alabama values to Washington. And while he is a bit of a folk hero, he's not completely bulletproof. So in his effort to be, like I said, a bit of a kingmaker who flies to the rescue, but Bannon, he was campaigning in the state, telling a crowd that allegations of sexual misconduct against Roy Moore were part of a smear campaign to keep him from office. He said they wanted to destroy Judge Roy Moore, and you know why? They want to take your voice away, which is just divisive politics 101. They, the blanket they, not an individual, not really looking for detail. It's a simple bumper sticker size solution to a very complex question. But it works and people eat it up with a spoon, especially if they feel like they're being done wrong or if they're being forgotten. So they want to take your voice away by taking Roy Moore away from you. And gosh darn it, if it doesn't seem to be working.
Real Radio 94.3 on the Treasure Coast 101.7.
Don't get the blues, get all the news. We mean all of you guys out there in Radioland. All aboard!
He's back. AD on the radio.
Give it up, yeah. Give it up, yeah. Bring this on, come on, come on.
So it's the oldest trick in the book. It's an expression that has been around, I don't know. It's an expression that's about 2 years younger than God. Yet people are just not good at spotting when this is being done to them. Divide and conquer. Get people riled up. Make them angry at each other. Then rise to the top of the situation. And in going to Alabama to campaign for Roy Moore, that's exactly what Steve Bannon is doing. He's dividing and conquering. Look, when the accusations against Roy Moore were first reported, well, here's the thing. McConnell called on Moore to drop out of the race. Seeing that Roy Moore appears to be, and you got to love this because it's not really operating from any place of principle whatsoever. Mitch McConnell was like, hey, Roy Moore, there's enough going on for us to not want you to be a part of this. You should bow out. We don't want you as part of the Republican Party. We don't need you smearing the GOP with your unbelievably sleazy reputation. Get out, basically. Then Roy Moore said, no, not getting out, not giving up, and surged ahead in the polls. So now McConnell's laid back on that. And he's like, oh, It was easy to bash him when he was a given loser. Now he looks like he might be a winner. Maybe I'll back him. Like I said, not exactly operating from a real place of principle here. But he said Alabama voters should determine whether Moore should be elected. And this is where Bannon sticks the wedge in and works that divide even wider. Over and over again, he's going after McConnell when he was campaigning for Roy Moore in Alabama. He said the folks in Alabama were always going to decide. Mitch, they have no interest in what you have to say. And Republicans are divided over Moore's candidacy. It's a big, big deal. Look, this vote that Roy Moore represents, if it goes to a Democrat, well, the majority is a majority of two. And one of those two you can't really count on. You can't really count on John McCain, because quite often he'll tear anything down that he can that has Trump's name on it. So understand, there's a tremendous amount of power wrapped up in whether or not Roy Moore winds up getting elected. But he is, of course, accused of rape, of child molestation, and all sorts of ugly, sleazy, horrible things. Not a ton of proof has evidenced itself, but it's not a good look for the Republican Party, so they're only too quick to treat him as political cyanide and distance themselves. Then, like I said, it appears like he had a shot at winning, and all of a sudden they're like, maybe. But this is where the divide and conquer thing comes in with Bannon. Republicans are divided over Moore's candidacy. Trump endorsed him, and this made the Republican National Committee reverse course and start going, okay, maybe you can have access to some of our resources. We would like for you to win. But they cut ties with Moore last month when the accounts of women who said he had sexually abused them were reported in the Washington Post. So again, not really operating from a place of principle in any way, shape, or form. No, it has to do with money and power and backing a winner. Oh man, he's gonna lose. He's a rapist. That rapist looks like he might be still able to win. Well, I guess maybe he can have some of our support. He can have some of our resources. He can have some of our campaign finance loot. And this is where Bannon, like I said, is driving that wedge. He's trying to start, and he did it with Donald Trump. He's continuing to do it. He's trying to start a civil freaking war in the Republican Party. He's trying to absolutely destroy the GOP and rise to the top as either the king or the kingmaker, like I said. Did you see what he said about Mitt Romney? Mitt Romney had said Roy Moore in the U.S. Senate would be a stain on the GOP and on the nation. The victims are courageous heroes. No vote, no majority is worth losing our honor or our integrity for. That's what Mitt Romney said about Roy Moore. When Bannon went out to Alabama, he went after Mitt Romney's religion. He went after his kids. He went after everything that he represented. He said, you ran for commander in chief and had 5 sons, not one day of service in Afghanistan or Iraq. We had 7,000 dead, 52,000 casualties. And where were the Romneys during those wars? Judge Roy Moore has more honor and integrity, he's a veteran, in his pinky than you have in your entire family. Crazy, right? Crazy. And the attack on his religion wasn't exactly a thinly veiled thing either. It's the pacifism part of Mitt Romney's Mormonism that I think kept him out of service. And so he was basically saying you use your religion as a shield and that makes you a coward. For a country that has freedom of religion where the government openly respected that, those are strong words. But like I said, not only is he campaigning for Roy Moore, but he's also taking every opportunity he can do to drive the GOP absolutely insane. Pit them against each other. Turn it into an absolute mess. He wants it to disintegrate so he can build it again in his image. Like I said when we started the show, 100 years from now, essays, term papers, PhD candidate theses will be written on this period of time that we are living through. And like I said, Trump will come up, the Clintons will come up, but there will be a very large chunk of that history book dedicated to Steve Bannon. I urge you to watch this space. All right, Funkhouser, shall we do a little news?
This is My Witness News. In no way, shape, or form fair and certainly not balanced. And now, super producer to the stars, Barry Funkhouser.
Yes, me.
Yes.
Okay, all right. Survey found that 51% of companies this year plan to not serve alcohol at their holiday parties.
Oh. These are holiday parties that are going to suck.
Is that why they're at 11 in the morning this year?
Oh, I don't know. I don't drink, but still, there's a reason why people drink at holiday parties. Not just because they need to get the old Dutch courage up so they can fax their butt cheeks all over the country on company equipment. No. There's a lot more to it than that. There is the idea that, well, we're all stiff, we're all uptight, and some people, i.e. most of my coworkers, need that little sippy sip to make anything that even vaguely resembles a party happen. Otherwise, you're just going to sit around talking about TPS reports, and, well, that would be dull. I don't know. I'm always an appreciator of cake, cookies, like the Christmas food. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and having that awkward conversation with that person you've never talked to in the office. Yeah, how's it going? Yeah, it's good cake. All right. Well, see you later.
Very good. Cake?
Do I? No, I'm not invited this year. I'm the one guy who has to stay back and hold the fort down. So I can't go to the party this year. Not invited.
No.
Yeah.
Sorry. It happens.
Not doing the gift exchange.
Well, that's good. You don't have to... that $10 gift thing that you had to do? Mm-hmm. That's not a thing for you?
Well, I'm going to another party that I do that for, but no, I don't have to make an impression at my office with... The
$10 gift, where you had to buy a gift for somebody else. We discussed it on the show the other day. You had to buy a $10 gift, and it couldn't be a gift card.
Yeah. I'm going to a naughty and nice party, and I have to have two gifts. One of them is a bad gift, and one of them is a good gift. So... I thought about getting a car wash kit as a bad gift.
Oh, that's naughty?
Well, it just has to be a gift no one wants.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't
know. I think I can do better than the car wash kit, but that's kind of where I'm starting. A year's
supply of Brussels sprouts?
Yeah. No gift cards, though. I need a tangible thing.
You need a tangible thing. Like I said, I'll reiterate my earlier statement about your gift that you've got to give someone. You give them your favorite book because you hang out with a bunch of sort of pretentious show businessy types at these parties, right? I mean, not pretentious. I'm not knocking your friends. I'm not knocking your coworkers, but they're the type of people that would like to appear to be educated.
We're not talking
correct?
about TPS reports in our holiday parties. So yeah,
right. These are folks that like to feel cultured, and I always get the maybe it's ever since you got those glasses, but I always get the idea that you hang with people that could be described as the intellectual elite or wanting to be the intellectual elite. Am I correct?
Someone called me I look like a young Steven Spielberg, and I said, thank you, I am a young Steven Spielberg.
Very good. Very good. Oh, that's cool. So this is what you do, dude. You get them a book because, look, I'm going to guarantee dollars to donuts most of these people that you're going to the party with don't read, but they would never want to admit they don't read. So they'd never be like, crap gift. They'd go, oh, I love it when somebody introduces me to new literature. Oh, fantastic. I've been looking for something new to read.
All right, so you know me.
Oh, I'm perusing the, wonderful, fantastic. Funkhouser got me a book. Oh, I've read it. Have you? Cliff Notes. Yes, I have. Is that the one about the thing? I read so many books, I'm not entirely sure. You get someone a book. They'll never read it, but they'll tell you it's the greatest gift ever.
So you know me, though. What I would have to read a book first before I can gift it. I haven't
I'm sorry.
since
I can't help you.
7th grade.
Oh, you know
can
what?
You recommend a book that?
Well, we did spend a good portion of the last couple of days talking about Animal Farm. That's a great book. It's an Orwellian novella. It's easy to read. It's well, we did yesterday on our show as well, right?
We think so.
Yeah,
a little bit.
Thanks for paying attention. But yeah,
who are you again?
Yeah.
So Animal House, huh?
No,
Animal Farm.
That's it. One stars John Belushi. And the other one stars John Belushi and was a precursor to Revenge of the Nerds. The other one was written by George Orwell. So get him Animal Farm.
I see. Okay. Well, I'll read that before I gift it.
It's
you think I'll like it, huh? So I'm gonna have to like it.
Look, here's the thing that I've come to realize. There's some people that are not readers, and I am not a reader, like not the way I used to be. I used to read constantly when I was a kid, but here's the depressing part of it. Reading takes time, and time is something that the vast majority of Americans don't have a lot of. We're all working. We're working really hard. We're working 2-3 jobs just to get by, and the luxury of hanging out with a good book is a luxury that a lot of us don't have. Like, a lot of us make money, not a ton of money, but enough money, and I think that the more people I talk to about this, the more it becomes readily apparent that the real luxury that we can't afford is time. None of us have any time. We're all getting by kind of, sort of, just. But we don't have the
unless
time
you're listening to this in
that's
prison.
Really good for us as a human being. Yeah.
Unless
oh man, if you're listening to us in prison, you got all the time in the world to read. Do they let people listen to podcasts in prison?
Yeah.
And I think you can listen to the radio. Oh, no, I know you can listen to the radio in prison because I've gotten a lot of mail from jail. Jail mail. Mm-hmm. It's a regular thing. Mm-hmm. I remember I got angry jail mail from this one guy who was listening to me in Houston on the buzz, and he was just like, I don't know how you can call yourselves a progressive rock station anymore. Why aren't you playing Rush? And I wanted to be like, just weren't. I don't think we've ever been a progressive rock
has
station.
Moved on,
I do love
friend.
Rush, but I'm yeah.
Rock.
Yeah. How long you been in there?
Yeah, right.
And then he got really angry about it. And sent me progressively angrier letters from jail about why I wasn't playing.
That's a little
Rush.
Scary.
Yeah. There was one guy who sent me jail mail, and he got out and came to visit me, and he was like, hey man, I wrote you all those letters. I was like, letters? He was like, yeah, the ones while I was kind of in channel. I was like, oh yeah. And they were like long letters about how he really, really kind of like enjoyed the show, and it helped him pass the time, and it kind of meant everything to him. And I was like, all right, what'd you do again, by the way? As I'm standing here in a vulnerable position, what did you do again? And he was like, somebody was cheating with my wife, and I got locked up for assaulting him. I was like, you know what? I kind of respect that. I don't think it's a good idea. I don't think cooler heads prevailed. I would never recommend it, but it doesn't make me as scared of you. In fact, it makes me want you to buy you a beer.
943.com.
Now, more AD on the radio.
Dude, did I ever tell you about the time somebody got out of jail and met me? It was one of the first times I'd ever been recognized from my TV show. Like, I had this TV show on that was on for like, I think it ran for like 4 seasons. I don't even remember. But it was on like 5 or 6 of the Fox affiliates in and around Houston. And
sort of like pre-Tosh.0 stuff.
Nah, it was sort of like Tosh.0 meets
The Soup
MTV. Like there was like music videos and sort of viral clips and me being stupid and goofy. But one of the things, like me and the guy that did the show were sitting around going like, well, we suck, but we've been offered a show. We don't know how to make a show. We don't know what a show is or what it's supposed to look like, or we just know how much time we have to fill. What do we do to keep people watching? And I was like, well, maybe we could put subliminal messages in. Like, I hear that like people used to do that all the time. And he was like, dude, that's totally illegal. I was like, yeah, I think I heard it was.
What?
I heard that
subliminal
was
messages are illegal?
Yeah, subliminal messaging in
so?
television. Like, you want to keep watching this. You want to buy this product. All that stuff is illegal. You're not allowed to do it. So I was like, what if we just had unsubliminal messages where we just tell people to keep watching? So we had this segment, and this is not my most heightened artistic moment, but I had the brilliant idea of putting slow motion bouncing boobs on the screen.
Oh, okay.
And just writing over them unsubliminal message, keep watching. And
you have my attention. Ha, ha, ha.
Yeah, right. So it was juvenile, it was sophomoric, and it was great. It worked. We got pretty good ratings, and I don't know if it was for any reason other than that. But like this one guy, I'm like hosting this night that I used to do in Houston at the Scout Bar in Clear Lake, and this guy comes up to me. He's like, "Dude, you're the guy from that show." I was like, "Oh, you actually watch?" He was like, "Yeah, it's the last piece of TV they would allow us to watch while we were in jail." I was like, "No kidding." He was like, "You have no idea. All the homies in the cell block think you're the greatest guy ever." I was like, "No kidding. I got friends in prison. I'm a badass, apparently." So, yeah, that was my experience.
Yeah, I got one call once. She showed up on a bus at the radio station, asked for money. I go, you got to be caller 9 to get money. Sorry.
She showed up on a bus from jail?
I can't buzz you in because, yeah. Well, that station let me collect calls. So once the local women's jail figured that out, oh boy, I got requests all day and all night. And then I stopped answering when
the local women's jail,
when the bus showed up and some lady in all one color, all blue clothes comes up. Hey,
I've got an email from a guy called Brady here. What was the last Tinder date you went on, like Funkhouser? Was that good?
Oh, the last one? Oh man, I've been having bad ones lately. But
how bad? What's the worst? I'm about to make you feel better about it.
The worst. Well, I haven't been stood up on, but it's just after 20 seconds we just disconnect. We do not connect, and then it's just a game trying to get through the night without going, "You suck," and so do I.
Now, do you go to dinner, or is it coffee or drinks, or what do you do?
Yeah, I mean, I stopped going to trendy hipster spots. Now I just go to like, "Hey, meet you at IHOP," and we'll have conversations there and go for a walk and whatnot. Simple stuff that I can show off my personality. Yeah, Hey man, I'm in the burbs. There's not much to do after 6:30.
Really? So are you going on Tinder dates with locals now?
Yeah, I've been on a couple.
Because for those that don't know,
not Tinder dates. I'm now on like Coffee Meets Bagel and whatnot. I'm more sophisticated than Tinder now.
Oh, really? Coffee Meets Bagel? Because you had this. You moved back home to like your hometown of Camarillo, California. You were like the consummate Los Angeles hipster.
Good old
for a while.
Central California. Now I'm a commuter
living
to LA.
in the thick of it all. And yeah, now you commute to LA. You're now a denizen of Camarillo. And I was like, and you kept going into Los Angeles for dates. I'm like, dude, just there's got to be. Look, you're nice. You're a good guy. You know, if I had a single sister, I wouldn't. I would introduce someone else's single sister to you. But
you'd be a good wingman out there, I think.
Then if it went bad, I'd have to pick a side, and I don't want to have to do that with you. So but I would happily hook you up with some female that I wasn't related to. And think it would be an okay thing to do. So if you're out there in Camarillo, and there's got to be a female equivalent of you somewhere. So it's interesting that you've started dating within your zip code again.
Yeah, it's not fun, but it's educational. Sure.
Coffee, IHOP, and a walk. That sounds rather nice, Funkhouser. I think you should change your profile to that.
Really?
My name's Funkhouser. I like long walks, a cup of coffee, and good pancakes.
I didn't say long.
I like walks, cup of coffee, and pancakes. So, all right, what's the worst is like you show up, you realize you got nothing in common. Like, oh, I hate you, but I already ordered. So you kind of like suffer through it.
The last girl showed me her adultfriendfinder profile bio.
Wait, I don't really understand what Adult Friend Finder is, but was she perhaps in the world's oldest profession?
No.
Something that rhymes with schmostitute?
No. She lived with her police officer father.
Oh.
Yeah, so she had a dark side. She wanted to show me about 20 minutes into the date, which is probably good for me, right?
How old was she that she lived with her cop father?
She's about my age, but she went through some stuff. We're in the same boat, you know.
Oh man! Oh, and you didn't have.
It's on paper. It seemed to work out, but
you didn't get together with this one.
No, man. I was safe on first base, and then game over, man.
Really? Does that mean what I think it means? Did you? Was there some cupping involved in this date after the pancakes?
No.
Okay.
Oh man, I have to look at the rules again, I guess.
Well, no, just when you said first base, that's
just a little bit of making out, listening to music in the car on the first day, which is
that sounds good. So
really
you made out,
listen
to the music in the car?
Yeah.
Well, this dude Brady has he said my Tinder date made me want to give up, and well, I can kind of understand why.
Real Radio 94.3 on the Treasure Coast 101.7.
There's something happening here, and you should know what it is. The dumbing up of America. Now, more AD on the radio.
So, you went on a Tinder date recently. You said it didn't work out well, but you said on the first date you were listening to music and making out a little in the car.
Yeah, I mean, we became friends, and now she tells me I need a haircut, and I'd look more attractive. She's one of those.
So she
if you
she
dress
friend-zoned you
nicer
after the first makeout session. She friend-zoned you after the first makeout.
Well, she ghosted me first after that, and then she came back around, and I'm like, let's be friends. Facebook friends. Now I get "Hope you're well" texts every couple of weeks.
No kidding. Send me. So this is a woman who's about your age. Has an
I told you all about this off the air when it happened, maybe a month ago. But yeah,
I think you left out the cop dad part and the adult friend finder profile. As per usual, you left out the most interesting moments of the conversation.
Oh, well, maybe I saved it for this moment.
I mean, the cop dad and the dirty hookup profile. You know what it is? You're too nice. Anybody who's got a cop dad that they're living at home with, no, you're not too nice to succeed in life, but she needs someone that can make her father angry.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not changing my bio to I like nice long walks and talking. I need to look more like a bad boy on dating.
Talking, coffee, and pancakes.
Yeah. If I was dating like a 55-year-old woman, that's perfect. Like, meet you at IHOP. But, all right, so I sent you a little information.
Interesting.
Little local.
All right. There you go. She went to Camarillo High. Did you go to Camarillo High?
Yeah. That was 20 minutes of our first conversation.
Oh.
But we didn't go at the same time.
Nothing else to talk about?
Yeah. No, we bonded on music and stuff. We both like yacht rock.
Good.
But she likes it a little too much.
Oh. Lots of Hall & Oates and Christopher Cross?
Yeah, and too much passion behind it. She's too, like, okay, it's okay to like Sarah Smile, but not to that level, lady. Singing it in her car, so really loud.
So no matter how bad the worst Tinder date you've ever been on ever is, this guy Brady can top it. He says, worst Tinder date ever. Actually, worst period Tinder date period, but you know what I'm saying. There are dots between all the words to really sort of drive the point home. He said, I quit life. My Tinder date turned out to be homeless.
Oh, I got one of those once.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. She was a contestant on a cooking show, and she was living in her car at the moment. She's like, you can come pick me up, but I'm on the corner of Pico and Washington, my car. I'm like, no thanks.
Huh. Is that, I mean...
Maybe the same girl.
I guess that's... Maybe. I don't know. She said that an hour into the date, she lays it on me that she's living in her van because her mother kicked her out for drinking her booze. Classy scenario. She's 35 and has 2 kids that her husband currently has custody of because she was considered unfit as a mom. She was worried that I would judge her. He said, well, I'm judging her. He said, I'm not asking for much. Can she just have a job, maybe look decent, be happy, and have a place to live? That's pretty much it.
See, that's why it's not fair, because a girl can be homeless living in a van and she's still getting the online dates. Meanwhile,
that is true. I hadn't thought of that.
Her stuff's blowing up, and I'm sitting here waiting. Maybe she'll reply.
He said, I get that people aren't perfect and life can throw you for a loop. I've been there, but I didn't put myself out there to date because I wasn't ready to become part of someone's life. I may not be the best at relationships, but I'm not selfish enough to assume that anyone would want to deal with my garbage. Well, yeah. Oh, I heard one of the most depressing things I have ever heard. One of our board ops is, I think he was on Snapchat or maybe some hookup website or something like that. And he told me that he's like chatting back and forth with this girl, and she was like, do you want to see, pictures of me? The implication being naked pictures. And he was like, yeah.
They do that?
Yes, I do.
That really happens? I don't think that ever happens. Girls are like,
I mean, I don't know if this...
Okay. Continue.
Well, no, it wasn't sending him to another site to be, to her webcam or anything like that. And she was like, okay, so here's the deal. I need to borrow like $50 so I can buy food to feed my son. Can you just I'll send you naked pictures in exchange for $50, or if you want to PayPal me the $50, I'll pay you back next week when I get my next check. And he was like, well, this went from me thinking I was getting a piece to being the most depressing snapshot of human nature I've ever come across in my life. I was like, did you give her the money? He was like, I had to. We've been talking for hours and I was actually really kind of liking her. And I just, he was like, I sent her money and
catfished.
Yeah. He was like, I sent her money and then blocked her. I don't want to deal with that ever again in my life. But I was like, well, that's depressing. She should have just become
depressing. A cam model. You can do it in 5 minutes, set it up, and you make so much money.
I have no idea. I guess the best part of dating a woman that lives in her van is, well, after you've finished the date, you can drop her off literally anywhere.
She can drop you off.
Or she could drop you off. Yeah. You don't have to drive her home because, well, she's driving her home. These are some life
You call
choices.
a Lyft and her phone goes off. Bling.
Yeah, if you have a car, you can work. Well, no, actually, I think there was a time period over the last couple of months where there was a time period over the last several. It was maybe a year or so ago when I kid you not, Funkhouser, the workload got so effing crazy, and I knew all these people that were driving Uber and Lyft and stuff. And for 1 second, I was just like, maybe I should just quit. If I just quit 5 of my 8 jobs and just did the Buzz and this talk show, and then I just drove Uber to make up the income that I was going to lose.
Oh my God, I'm glad you didn't.
Well, I mean, it was just a moment, but I
thought about that too, and then I'm like, I hate people. I will hate them more if I drive them around.
See, I like driving. I just like driving around. I actually kind of enjoy that, you know. So that part of it. But then the thing is, I was like, what does it actually entail to do this? You know, what's that like? And then there are requirements for the quality of car you drive. So if someone's living out of their van and it's not a new enough van, I don't think that they can make money driving Uber or Lyft. I think your car has to live up to certain specifications. I don't know how Uber or Lyft verify that, though. Maybe you've got to send in a picture of your car.
No, you go to a place and there's a person there that you talk to that sets you up. But I got picked up by a grandma once, and she was driving a 93 Buick, and it was in good shape. She was a lead foot. I was like, what are you driving for? She's like, I'm bored. My husband died. This is how I meet people. And have something to do all day. Here's your bar.
I got taken to the airport a little while ago by my neighbor. Not a neighbor that I knew, but a neighbor that lived like near me, and he's this older guy. He's retired, and on the way to the airport, he was, "Where are you going?" New York. He was like, "Oh, I've got a beautiful vacation home in Connecticut." Like I mostly, and he was talking about all these different houses he had, and he Ubered me in his Mercedes, and like if he lives where I think he lives, it's not the inexpensive part of the neighborhood, but he was just like he was retired and he had kind of nothing to do, and he enjoyed driving people around. That was just his shtick.
If you have the time and you don't care about mileage, because you'll kill your car, but if you have the time and the car for it, it's great. I have a bunch of friends doing it in LA. They make a lot of money, but I would never. I mean, I might have to someday.
If you
but
really hustle at Uber, and I'm sure we could just Google this, but like your friends that drive Uber, how much money can you make in a week?
You can pull 40 to 50 a year. Just by driving.
Kidding.
Yeah. So it depends on.
Is that before taxes?
Yeah. They take out. They do it. They before. No, that's after. No, they take.
That's
take
after
it all
taxes.
Out.
You could do $50,000 a year driving Uber. That's really not bad.
Yeah, but you're like in the car for 12 hours and you're driving a lot. So.
Sure, but I mean, I guess there's all sorts of people drive for a living and spend a lot of time in a car, whether they're delivery drivers or cab drivers, or there's a lot of people.
I get a lot of families. I always ask them. I say, "What's your deal? Like, what's your story?" And they always just moved here with their whole family, and they take shifts in this really luxury car, usually a Prius. And the mom will drive, and then the dad will drive, and a couple of the kids will drive, and they're just 24 hours driving the car around. And it's a lease.
When I was visiting my dad in Austria, when my dad was going through his heart procedure, I introduced him to the concept of Uber. He's like, "This is the greatest thing ever." I was like, "Join this century," and he was like, "I will." But so he started taking Ubers, and one thing I noticed in Austria, I think out of the 10 I probably took about 15 Ubers while I was there. 14 of them were Mercedes. Like, I was like, if you have a Mercedes, why you?
Aren't they all fine. Mercedes in Austria though? Don't they only drive Mercedes and the Audis?
No. I mean, there were lots of sort of like Fiats and stuff like that. And no, they weren't all sort of like European luxury cars. There were Skodas and I don't know. There's cool looking cars in Europe.
If you're thinking about it, you should do WAG. You should walk dogs because you make more money. It's fun.
Yeah.
I was going to do that.
I don't know. I'm just going to stick it out in radio, I suppose. I mean, we're doing good work, right?
Not me. I'm not.
We're on.
I don't want to make money with radio.
Oh, man. All right. So bearing in mind that we've decided we're not going to bail and drive for Uber, much to the chagrin of our detractors.
Hey, I haven't.
Much to the chagrin of the people that accuse me of being a Nazi sympathizer for saying Martin Luther King had the right idea and Antifa should chill the hell out. We should probably continue.
Whoa, man! Whoa,
radio!
Whoa, man! Whoa. Well, I mean, I haven't ruled it out yet. Totally, I may be an Uber driver, but my friend Kristen Carney is an Uber driver, and she's a comedian. She tries out her jokes.
Oh yeah, no, we've had her on the show. She's really funny. She's got that killer podcast, and she fills in for Gina Grad on Carolla's show, right?
Yep. And she tries out all of her jokes with passengers, so that's good. If I Ubered, I would do that. I think.
Well, if you're a comedian, I wonder. Do you remember that movie? That TV show on HBO, Taxi Cab Confessions? You remember that 90s piece of awesomeness?
It was before reality TV really hit.
Yeah, I wonder that there's got to be like Uber driver confessions. You know,
Google that.
Like,
there's 10,000 people doing it.
Yeah, I mean, now all it takes is a GoPro.
I know
on
a
your
guy
dashboard.
that dresses in drag and drives people around, and he has a big old sticker on his car that says "Driving is a drag." And he dresses as a...
It's very good. It's very good.
Yeah,
I like that.
Funny.
All right, more news.
Well, we only have a minute here, so one more piece. Russia has been banned from the 2018 Winter Olympics for doping violations.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. athletes individually can compete under a neutral flag. I've never seen a neutral flag. I don't know if there's a historical precedent for this, but Russia as a whole has been banned from the Olympics. However, Russian athletes, I'm sure they have to undergo rigorous testing, but they can compete in the Olympics under a neutral flag. It's insane. Russia's been banned from the Olympics for doping violations. Meanwhile, Matt Lauer had been banned from the Winter Olympics for groping violations.
Aww.
Yes, thank you. I'll show myself out.
Try that on Lyft next when you're driving. See if you get a laugh.
Yeah, which I think I'm going to be doing very soon based on that prize-winning material.
Just make sure you have extra gum and waters for them.
Yeah. There's that rapier wit that'll have me picking up other people's bags for a living in no time flat.